The following is a Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show YouTube exclusive.
Hello everyone, welcome to this special YouTube exclusive episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Happy to be here with us. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Jake Deffinbaugh. With me today, of course, is our co-hosts, Chris Bixby and Matt Bingel. How you guys doing?
Doing terrific. Hello, everybody.
Yes, and Jake, how are you doing?
Hello, yes, I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you for asking. What do we have for today?
Yes, happy
Special episode.
Yes, happy you're here with us, folks. We have 3 guests joining us today. 2 of them are returning guests, and 1 is joining us for the very first time. You may know them best for their contributions to Sesame Street, but today we'll be talking about the new web series, The Pigeon Explains, based on the best-selling books by Mo Willems, with the 2 puppeteers and the puppet wrangler for this wonderful project. Please welcome Bradley Freeman Jr., Kathleen Kim, and Rose Labarre. Happy to have you guys here.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Delighted to have you.
Absolutely.
Did you know this is Rose's first podcast ever?
It's our first one.
Yes.
The
Thanks,
first one
Bradley.
she's ever done. You're so welcome.
Woo.
Just wanted to make
Hooray
sure that
for you,
everybody knew
Rose.
that.
Yay.
Thank you.
You're a part of the club.
Mazel tov.
Yes, you're part of the club. Yes.
So to start this off, could you kind of give like a brief kind of description of like kind of who you guys are and what you do? I guess kind of in general.
Yeah, I can start. So hi, as you know now, because I was introduced, I am Bradley. I'm a puppeteer. I've been a puppeteer for a really long time. I work a lot on Sesame Street, playing 2 characters, Wes and Tamir, and then a bunch of other random things that get thrown my way. I also work with the Disney Muppets on occasion. You've probably seen me on Helpsters throwing papers at walls. And now I am playing the Pigeon with Mo Willems on the Pigeon Explains on the Mo Willems Workshop YouTube channel. And new episodes every Friday, which is very exciting. So yeah, in brief, that's me, and I'll toss it over to this person who's right below me on my screen. It's Rose.
Oh, hi. I'm Rose. I have been a puppet wrangler for not very long, despite Bradley's experience. So we met on Sesame Street. I started season 53. That's where we met. And he asked me to join him and Kathy on this project, and I'm excited to be a part of it. But yeah, my background is in costuming for TV and wardrobe for Broadway and off-Broadway. So puppets kind of became my new thing, and I love it.
Nice. And Kathy, what about you?
Also, I just wanted to take this opportunity to add that Rose is an Emmy award-winning costumer.
Yes.
For
You can see it right there
Kathy.
on the shelf next to Kermit.
show called The Thing. I don't remember the name of the show, Rose. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It was
The
The
Quest?
Quest on Disney Plus, but now it's no longer.
Now it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. You can still see it. Anyway, hi. I'm Kathy Kim. I am a puppeteer and sometimes voice actor, public speaker, maybe human fleshy actor, but mostly puppeteering. You probably know me as Chi-Young on Sesame Street, and I played Julia's mom, Elena, as well. I also did all 3 seasons of Helpsters, and that's where I met Bradley. And I've done some other stuff, but you probably know me more for my Sesame Street work.
Nice.
Wonderful to hear. So, Brad and Kathy, what was it like for you both to be back on to talk about what we're going to be talking about today?
It's funny because, thank you so much for having us back. And we're so happy that you guys are enjoying the product. But I'm like, I don't really know. It's really going to be Bradley's show because he's done a ton of pigeon stuff. I am just lucky enough to come along and be his assist for the YouTube videos that we've done so far. How about you, Bradley?
Nice.
Oh, me? Well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be back. You know, talking to some old pals and stuff, and to actually like be able to bring my friends on who helped to make this entire thing possible. I mean, it's the best. Seriously, the best team. Like, this is a dream team. It literally couldn't be more perfect.
That's wonderful.
It is
So,
wonderful.
yes. but it's good to be back, and it's good to bring my friends on too.
Nice.
Absolutely wonderful. Let's jump into the Pigeon Explains. So, three of you are part of the Pigeon Explains, the brand new series based on the books. For those who are new to the series of books or haven't seen it, could you describe kind of what the series is?
You know what, Kathy, you should do that.
Me? Oh, okay. Mo Willems, The Pigeon Explains. It's based on the book. The first one was called Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. And it's like, as a mom of an 8-year-old, we have every single title of Mo Willems' book. And basically it's, a pigeon who is directly speaking to his kid audience. And it makes for a really interactive reading experience where the kids get to answer and sort of be in a position of authority, telling the pigeon what he can or cannot do or what he should or shouldn't do. And the pigeon's always trying to get his way because he thinks he's above the rules. But there's from the Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, there's been, I don't even know, dozens and dozens of other pigeon books. Don't let the pigeon eat the hot dog, or don't let the pigeon have the hot dog, or the
wants a
pigeon
hot
eat the
dog, the pigeon wants a
bat.
Let him
puppy, the
have a
pigeon will ride
cookie.
the roller coaster. Yeah, the pigeon wants a cookie. The pigeon has feelings too. There's one that's really cool, like philosophical and weird and random, called Be the Bus, and it's
Right.
hilarious.
Oh, I don't
That's
think
a
I've
good
seen
one,
that
Kathy. If
one.
you haven't seen that one, that one's a really good one.
No, we were
Um,
more of a Piggy and Gerald book house.
Yes.
There you go, yeah.
And the
Outfit and
Knuffle
Peggy.
Bunny. We're big Mo
Oh,
Willems
Knuffle
fans
Bunny,
in this
yes.
household. Yeah.
Yes, that was actually a perfect segue. Like, how familiar were you guys with Mo's work prior to working on this series? I know
Well,
Kathy kind of
obviously I was
answered,
very
but
familiar.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Kathy would read this with her daughters and stuff, and I sort of grew up just above the age range of Mo Willems, like Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus was like always just following behind me. So I had seen the pigeon tangentially, and of course you can't avoid it. You can't avoid seeing the face of the pigeon. And so I knew of it, but I didn't really know it in depth. And to be completely honest, I think that actually really helped with my taking on the character, because I didn't have any real strong preconceived notion of the character before it was described to me by Mo himself. And so I think it ended up being perfect and a real entry to the character. And also, if I had known more about it, I think I would have been extremely intimidated and made a lot of wrong choices. So I think it actually really helped. And now I'm, of course, extremely familiar with the pigeon, and I've read all the books. And part of me is like, I really wish I had read this as a kid, but the other part of me is like, I'm glad you didn't, because now you get to do it. So
No, and it's great because you put so much of yourself into Pigeon. And I told him, like, on the first day that we shot the series, I'm like, who's going to have the biggest beef with your voice is literally every mom and dad who have a version of the pigeon in their own head when they're reading it at bedtime. It's like, that's not
Right,
what a
yeah.
pigeon sounds
Yes.
like my pigeon sounds like this, like everybody probably has like a different version of the pigeon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that's very true. It's kind of a perfect transition for you, Bradley. You were the puppeteer of the pigeon. Could you kind of describe like the audition process and the process of getting the role of the pigeon?
yeah, I mean, it was a lot like a regular audition. You sort of see that there's an opportunity, and somebody reaches out to you and says, "Hey, would you send in a video?" And so you do that, and then there were callbacks that were happening around Thanksgiving. It ended up being over Zoom, and John Tartaglia and Mo Willems were both on the call, along with a couple other awesome people, like Simone was also there, one of the producers at Hidden Pigeon. And it turned out to be, I didn't know much about what was happening at the callback, but it turned out to be like a sort of all improv exercise thing. And again, thank goodness I didn't know, because I would have psyched myself out of it before I even got in. And so it was just like improvising back and forth with Mo, and him asking questions to the pigeon, which was just a puppet that I had lying around. It was this random little monster puppet that I used for auditions. And then we hopped on a call later, and they were like, "Well, these are the people you'll be working with." And I was like, "Oh, I think I might have actually gotten the part." And then, I get a call from the production company, like, "Are you available on these dates?" And congrats. And I was like, "Oh, I guess I actually did get the part. This is super cool." So it was like most puppet auditions go. You don't really
Nice.
know you got it until they call you and ask if you're available for these days because we
Right.
need you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So I'm kind of curious for you, Bradley. What kind of went into developing the Pigeon's voice?
So Mo Willems was the voice of the Pigeon for the last 20 years. And so he wanted to sort of expand it and turn the character into something that he wasn't really able to do, I guess. You know, his own words, that he was sort of like, he wants to hand it off to a performer to be like Super Pigeon, and then he can be Mo. And so, but the Pigeon before was really just Mo Willems' voice. And, you know, at first, when a lot of people read this character, a lot of people can kind of see the character as sort of a grumpy, whiny kid. And Mo is very specific about, this pigeon is a tax-paying pigeon. This is an adult. He's an adult, and he's not grumpy. He is thwarted. And those were some very specific things that he was telling me this whole time. And then as I was doing the audition, I auditioned with sort of a more like, oh, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he said, just bring the tone down. He's a man, you know, he's fully grown. He's an adult, and you sound like an adult. And I want for the pigeon to sound like an adult. And so now he's just this exaggerated version of my own voice, like, hello, everybody. It's so good to, you know, that sort of thing. And it was based on the tone and cadence of Mo Willems, with just extra how do you say, like, texture and variety, because you wanted the pigeon is also very filled with character and characters. So there's always sort of a new thing that he's doing. He's a variety of a person. He's a variety of a pigeon. And so that's what I have been. And you know what? Every time I perform them, I'm still learning, and there's still new things that come up. And so, yeah.
Nice, nice. So for you, Kathy, what's it like kind of getting to help assist the pigeon?
Oh, it's so fun. You know, we didn't really know what to expect, and Bradley's such an amazing performer. I'm like, I don't know if he's really gonna need me. I'll just like stand by, but you know, I'm on standby if you need me. And then what we ended up finding out was that like it was easier for him to just have me do both wings at the same time. It adds like symmetry. I can kind of like fill in little personality, you know, gestures. But also like because we're shooting on location and not on the standing set, you know, we have to sort of cater to the height of these children that we have in every single episode. And like we're doing actual real world things, washing your hands, brushing your teeth, making a sandwich. So we're like shoved in all sorts of unpredictable, we're not sure where we're going to be on any given day. We're like, oh, we're like looking at this particular setup of a wall and a bathroom counter. We're like, okay, we got to both fit in there. And so sometimes Bradley's like in these awkward positions. And so it's easier for me to just take both and have him just worry about being in this terrible position and like, you know, fill out this like amazing character of Pigeon. And so for me, it's the first time that I've right-handed or assisted the same character consistently. For 3 seasons, I was Hart's primary right hand and like, or arm, I guess. And by the 3rd season, sometimes like, you know, if someone had to sub in for me, they'd be like, how do you do this? Like, how do you hide and like get on the same page? I'm like, you know, you just kind of like, after doing it for a while, you just like know Ingrid, who played Hart, you know what she's going to do. And so like, that first couple days, it was like a little janky. It's not like a traditional rotted armed puppet. It's like these like wings that go back. And sometimes, you know, they don't do exactly what you want them to do. By the end of like the how many days was the first shoot? 4 or 5? 5 days?
4 days. 4 days.
4 days. By the end of the 4th day, it like I not only knew the puppet better, but I knew Bradley. And I'm sure Bradley, as he's figuring out who he is as Pigeon, like he knows like what he's gonna do with Pigeon when he's like angry or shocked or like coy. And so just kind of dialing into Bradley and how he's doing Pigeon, I can sort of like, it's a very zen exercise, because you can't as a right hand be like I know what Bradley's gonna do, so I'm gonna plant it. Nope, like you just have to be completely just turn off your brain almost and just sink into the primary puppeteer. And it's so much fun. I love right handing, and Bradley is so great, and we're such good friends, and so it's just we have a blast.
Yeah, I think that's part of what really helps. You can hear me, right? Yeah, that's part of what really helps, like the pigeon character come to life, is the fact that like Kathy and I are already such good friends that there is that sort of trust that is already there, which is really, really important especially when it comes to puppetry and working together and creating a unified character. Is I trust Kathy, so just take both, and she's going to do it, and she's like able to add these little things that never take away from what's happening, but always add to it. So the pigeon has now developed this little like like sometimes
The
he'll
little
just do like
flutter
that
when
little
he's excited.
yeah
is
that
my
little
favorite.
pigeon move.
He's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just has,
it's like it's so
yeah,
good.
he has like a
It's
little
wagging
flutter.
Really
tail.
It's best. It's the best. It's so cool, and she's able to get so much out of those wings. It's actually really, really freaking cool because they're weird. I mean, because it's not like a typical puppet where you have the two rods, that are coming down right here. They kind of go back, and the resting position is back here, and you have to sort of flip them out and do this and create all these weird poses to make it sort of read like hands or arms and stuff. And she has been an absolute master, and I trust her and I love her, and that's exactly why she is here in this group, is because fantastic. She's a fantastic puppeteer.
Not to mention that everyone knows like the image of the pigeon like freaking out with the wings and all the like the
Oh,
lines
yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
So Kathy has
sure.
to create that in the 3D from 2D, and she does it so well. Of course,
Oh.
Bradley's in there too. No, I'm kidding. But how
He
you
has
get
a little
those things,
part. It's
those
really about the
little
win.
like freakouts that are so iconic to the character, and that's why
Yeah.
an assist
It's
is
just
such
sort
a
of
huge part of it. Exactly. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
But it's great. I mean, like there's a part to it where it's, you're just kind of, clicking into the main performer. But also he's very he also knows what he wants. He's a very he's a very smart performer. And so he could look at a line read and say like, you know what I want to do. And so sometimes it's like we're playing together and we're just on the same page most of the time. But sometimes it's like, ooh, you know what, for this next take, I want to do it this way. And it's like, got it, but he's like a very clear communicator. He like knows exactly when he knows exactly what he wants. He knows exactly how to tell me. And then we're right on the same page. It's not like, as you guys have talked to a lot of puppeteers, we don't get rehearsals or anything like that. We're just kind of playing, we sort of get to play between takes and that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's very, and it's helpful for me too, to have someone who has such a strong point of view, a strong sense of who this character is. And like we are building like vocabulary together so that on the fly, we're on location, we've got a crew, we've got a kid, we can just say like one or two words and be like, I got you. And we know, we can kind of communicate quickly enough to get on the same page, which is, it's such a pleasure.
And speaking of building a vocabulary with the pigeon, that is something that Rose and I have definitely developed, because he's got these different eyes, that we can sort of put on and take off for different shots. So like, let's say I want to create this mood right here.
Yeah.
Well, then I would ask for like the quarter lids, because it's not really coming down all the way, and I want them to look like that. And so we have these extra little quarter lids that can go like right on his eye, and we can do a stop take. We put them on and we get his reaction and saying like, not the toe. And then we'll take them off and we'll go back to doing something else. Or let's say we want him to look like this, right? Well, that means that we're going to have to rotate the eye completely, like all the way back around, so that the pupil's facing this way, and then give him a half lid. And so the cool thing about the pigeon is, on the script, I'm able to look at a line and be like, oh, you know what? I want him to have this face when he's reading this line. So I'll just draw that face, and then I'm able to show Rose.
Yeah, I just see the drawing, so I'm like, put it on.
She's got the lids ready, and then we're
Do
just
they
able
all
to
have
sort of like
names?
So, well,
Do
we
they all
have
have names?
sleepy lids for the
we have sleepy
closed
lids, which are the
eyes.
ones that are like,
We have the
Do I have something
magoos, which are the
Oh, the
excited
ones
that are
magoos.
Frenchy lids. And then we
I
have
can show
quarter
you.
lids, half lids. And then now we have the builder made more eyes. So we have like different pupil sizes and pupil placement. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, so we have
That's
like
cool.
barrel eyes
is
and
cool.
hero eyes and all
Yeah,
sorts
so
of
we have
really
hero
awesome.
eyes,
really
barrel.
cool
Like we've
designs.
this past social media shoot, we kind of just like came up with maybe too many names.
But you know what though? Can I just like blow up Rose's spot too? It's a
Sure.
she is a new wrangler, but it's funny because like we were talking about like what makes an excellent wrangler, and Bradley was over at my place like for dinner, and Brian, my husband, who's not a puppeteer, he's like, I don't understand what's the difference between a good wrangler and a bad wrangler. Like, what makes a good wrangler? We're like, well, let us tell you about Rose, and we just pretty much just like talked about why, even though she's new to building and wrangling puppets, there's just also part of it is just a talent and a sensibility and an ability to read the room. She's incredible, and so she's used to handling all the big puppets. Like she wrangles like Big Bird on Sesame Street. She's there on days where there's tons of characters with like a million different props and costumes. But it's been it's been interesting to see Rose in this like sort of setup where there is no puppet captain. It's Bradley, and then it's us. But I feel like she's like she's not just there to take care of the puppet. She is just as important as like she's just there on top of it before we even think to ask for stuff, because she just knows and she gets it, and she's so smart. But she also just has like she's a creative brain, and so she knows like right away, oh, what Bradley's kind of probably want to do, or like, oh, it would be really good for this, like, and she'll just come over and be like, Bradley, you want these eyelids, right? And he's like, yes, I did. And so she's the best. She's absolutely the best.
I paid her before this.
I'm waiting for my check still, Rose.
The Venmo's coming. The Venmo's coming.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Kathy. No, that's really, honestly, it's so much fun because I have experience being on set as a costumer and backstage doing quick changes for like off-Broadway, Broadway. So a lot of that training from that work is just like anticipating. So like I'll see Bradley start kneeling onto his knees, and I'm like trying to like slide a cushion under his knees.
Slide a cushion
I'm
under.
just like, save your knees, like just stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just like the baby. I call myself like a puppet babysitter when a kid asks me what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah, and for you, Rose, how's the wrangler for the pigeon? Like what's getting to wrangle on the project like?
It's a lot of fun, and because it's very early stages of the character and the series, it's really fun to be part of something from the beginning. So we've all worked on something very established. Sesame's been around for 55 seasons now.
Yeah.
So we're just like little grains of rice in the grand scheme of things. So being part of Team Pigeoneer is really fun. And the production meetings, we're all like trying to figure out the vocabulary of the show and the vocabulary of the pigeon. And it's a new puppet, so we're breaking in this puppet and figuring out what it can do. And how does the pigeon hold a little microphone? Like, how does it, we just try to, does he move things with his beak? Like, he doesn't use his wings as hands. Like, we're trying to figure out like what is that vocabulary. So as a wrangler, it's really fun. And also like I love like schlepping around my little kit. And I got I don't know if you know what camp chairs are, but I got camp chairs to match the pigeon. So I'm like really loving the color coordination part of it too. But it's really fun. And we're part of this series, and we have a lot of say. Like, I don't want to say like, I don't want to talk bigger than we are, but we have a lot of say in this character. And so working with Bradley and Kathy and just being like, okay, what do you need? Like, so I can anticipate like, oh, the pigeon wouldn't be holding this prop in his wing. He would be holding it in his beak. How do we preset that? How do we dress the pigeon? Like,
Or on his head.
Put everything on his head? Do we, does he wear costumes like a human would, like where his shoulders would be? Or does he wear it all the way up on his neck because he has a crazy long neck? Like, we're just learning what that means now. And after a conversation with Mo, back to the tax-paying pigeon, his vocabulary is that he dresses up and he becomes the character that he dresses up as. Like, he is a thespian through and through. So we're also having a lot of fun with that. So as a wrangler, you don't usually get to have these kind of involvements in like character development. So being part of that is really special.
Nice, nice.
That's awesome. So for Bradley and Kathleen, each episode of the Pigeon Explains has a segment where the pigeon is interacting with kids, like real kids. What are doing those like? Because I'm sure filming it itself on location must be a blast.
They are so much fun. When we did it the first time, there was a little bit of like, again, we're still feeling out what the show is going to be, and we're not super sure. But as we got more and more comfortable, we started getting more and more comfortable with the kids. And when we were at that house, the room that we are waiting in, like our holding room, our dressing room, is the same as the room that the kids are in. So we were actually just hanging out with the kids between takes and talking to the parents and just developing these awesome relationships, which I'm a really big fan of. And then toward the end of the shoot, it was like, oh, wait, we can just have fun and kind of stick to the lines, but not really. And so then it started to turn into that. And we started to let the kids like really be kids and have fun and laugh at the pigeon, because that's sort of what the whole show is about. And the pigeon is, well, we're laughing with the pigeon sometimes, but for the most part, we're all saying, no, pigeon, that's not how this works. And the kids are then feeling like they have the ability to do that. And it's that is, you can't stop smiling when you're doing some of this stuff. I mean, really, it's just
The
amazing.
kids are amazing. Timmy Kyon, who wrote, and I guess like he's technically the showrunner for these. He's the one who created Helpsters and showran it for the first couple seasons. Odd Squad, he was the creator showrunner for that. He's also written for Adventure Time, for Gravity Falls, for Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Like he comes from, he's worked on every excellent show ever, it feels like, for kids. And like part of his talent is also casting real kid actors. They're all professionals, but they're all, you know, very funny and have like a point of view. They're all incredibly smart. And like to Brad's point, like they're so professional and prepared, more so than most grown-ups that I know.
More than we are.
That like, you know, sometimes like it almost like felt like the joking around and getting to know them as kids off set was helpful to kind of loosen them up, because they're so professional that they want to stick to the script. And they would kind of like stifle themselves when Bradley, you know, would do something ridiculous with Pigeon, and like he would just like take a line that needed to be at a 9 and like crank it up to 14, and like the kids like kind of stop themselves from laughing, and we'd have to keep reminding them like, you can totally laugh. That's a part of the show. Like maybe on other shows, you know, like you know, obviously you don't want to break you know, a shot, or you don't want to like, you know, maybe add your own flourish to it. You have to very much stick to the script, but this is not that show. And so getting that like, you know, sort of comfortable friendship with these kids is great fun for us, but also I feel like it lends to like a better product when like you can feel their actual kidness show. And so that's been cool. But it's different for every kid, because we've had they're all very different in the way that they approach being an actor, you know. Some of them are, I mean, just professional. Olive, who had to jump rope outside in the freezing cold.
Yes.
Had her lines down on block,
cold that day.
would not break, was like very, very poised, you know. We had to kind of loosen her up. But my God, it was like 20 degrees outside. And they would have like hand warmers for her, like between takes, and they would get her inside. And then she would come out and be like freezing and be like, all right, action. She's like, no, Pigeon, this is how you know, like completely relaxed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl is such a pro. But then you have also other kids whose talent is that they just have so much spirit and energy. Lucas comes to mind. He was the kid who made the sandwich. And, you know, he took a little bit more like, kind of his energy just wants to be out, and so that takes like a different kind of directing for that. But once you figure it out, it's magic, because you know he's just an awesome kid. So it's been really fun.
Nice. And not to mention, between takes, not only Bradley and Kathy talk to the kids, but the pigeon does talk to the kids too. So that's a lot of fun. So they'll be like, you know, like be upset with Pigeon, or they'll just joke with Pigeon and be like, no,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Or they'll just keep like bantering, and those little bits are
Yeah.
so cute.
Because not
They're
only is
all
it so much
different, but
fun for
there's
us. Go ahead.
just one thing. They're all very different, but they all have one thing in common. They all want to do one thing to the pigeon. You know what I'm about to say, Bradley? They all want to put their fingers in Pigeon's mouth.
Oh no.
Every single one of them. And like, and
oh.
it happened a couple times, and I forgot who from the crew was like, oh, and we're like, no, watch. Every single kid who comes in here is going to want to do the same thing. They're like, really? Why? We're like, I don't know.
The
But it's
first
just
time
a
it happened,
fact.
everyone's like, oh,
Yep.
that's strange. And then every kid after was just like,
Yeah. And it's not that every child like saw the child before them do it. It's just the one thing, like, I need to do this. Like they just and they just started
He
doing
doesn't
it.
have teeth.
he
He
doesn't
doesn't
have
have teeth. Yeah, but they'll say bite me. Yeah, bite
Yeah.
my finger, bite my finger.
Every kid
But
wants to
one
put
of
his
the
fingers
other
in the
tricks
puppet's mouth.
Yeah.
One of the other tricks, though, sometimes is like when they want to get, handsy and like poke eyes or poke mouths, the pigeon says, my turn, and then starts to try it. And
That's a good one.
yeah, it
That
actually
is a
kind of
good
works
one.
because they're
Funny.
like, oh, I forgot. You can
It-
talk back.
It reminds me of the Muppet and Kids segments on Sesame Street they had long ago. You're just so the kids are. It sounds like they're just so enthusiastic to do this, even if they are child actors. They really want to do this with the pigeon, and it
Oh,
just
yeah.
it truly shows.
Oh
Because a
yeah.
lot of these kids are pigeon fans, and so they're actually really
Yeah.
excited to be around and to be doing this. And yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
does. It feels like an enhanced version of the Sesame Street on Limbo saying the NBCs or the NBCs, the CBSs and the ABCs. They I said NBCs like a dork. But they because we're actually like sort of accomplishing a task together. And completing some version of a narrative, so in that sense it's sort of like a just adjacent but also slightly I think I froze again,
No.
Your brain.
No.
better version.
Yeah.
Oh, now you did. Oh,
I froze again, now I'm back. Okay. Anyway, it's fun.
But also, kids are really excited to work with Pigeon, but they're also really excited to see like behind the scenes of puppetry. So a lot of that is them being like, why are you on the ground? Why are you looking at that? Why, there's a lot of
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
And so you're teaching, the art form of puppetry, and they're getting a crash course on set right there. And so a lot of them really love it, and they want to try, and they'll go down on the floor and see like what it looks like. It's really sweet to just share that with them too.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's cool teaching
That's
them how
awesome.
monitors work and arm rods and
Right.
how the pigeon is actually moving around and stuff.
Yeah.
We had, I think, Camilo, who was helping us kick a ball,
Yeah.
was standing there.
Love
He
that
was
one.
like
Yeah,
holding
that's a good one.
Yeah,
he was holding the
got to
rods.
he was so good at
Yeah.
it.
sing.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
actually really
wow.
good at it. It was fun.
Sometimes they start like playing too much, and like it does look like a big plushy toy, but it was a very costly puppet to make.
Handmade,
So
handcrafted.
sometimes,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
this is like Rose. She's so gentle but like authoritative in like such a sweet way. She'll just come in and be like, "Pigeon, do you need to take a nap?" And then she'll just pull him over and take him over to the wrangling table. It's so cute.
Yeah,
They
or
were
if
like,
there's
"What?"
messes around, I like Bradley will like give me Pigeon, and I'm like a football.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
taking-
There, because like on Sesame, like any new puppet production, there's always like a learning curve because you're always dealing with like people who've never worked with puppets before, and it's such a specific thing. And there's definitely been, I don't know, have we worked with like real toothpaste before with around the puppets on Sesame Street? But there was definitely like real food and
That I've
real
done.
toothpaste and real soap, and we're like, oh no, gosh. Like I remember just like using our bodies to just
Yeah.
try and like block like water splashes, and Lucas with this knife of jelly, we're like, oh my gosh.
Because it's a handmade item. It's all hand dyed, hand stitched. Like it's all
Mhm.
very involved. And the last thing you want to do is get grape jelly on the puppet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was
It's
a
not just a
you-
plush you can go to the store and get
right.
another
It's
one.
not, you can't replace
No.
it.
No.
Yeah, no,
Because
yeah.
they had to get
No.
the, I guess, and Rose could probably speak to this more, but like you probably had to dye the fabric to be the exact Pantone of Pigeon in the books.
Mhm.
So the
Yeah.
color was matched to the Pantone, and they go through several swatches to get to that. And so, these incredible artists are getting this 2D, once again, this 2D image in 3D.
Mhm. And doing an incredible job, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it was
Yeah.
Sierra at Henson who was really sort of the main builder on the Pigeon, and she did an incredible job. So shout out to Sierra and the people at
yeah.
Henson. But
Yes,
it
Oh,
was
Sierra's
absolutely.
amazing.
Amazing job.
Yeah, so for those who haven't seen the series, could you kind of talk about like the main things viewers would learn or kind of take away from it, if that makes sense?
no, I'm kidding. Yeah, of course. It's called The Pigeon Explains, and most of it's sort of there in the title, except the title is wrong because the pigeon actually doesn't explain anything. And the pigeon sort of his goal is to explain, how to make a sandwich. Today we're going to talk about how to make a sandwich. And the
How you
pigeon
make it
starts out
this?
Yeah.
how you make it this, how you make it
yeah.
out, how you do with this. Yes, and so, but he gets it so outrageously wrong every time he tries to do it on his own. And one of his expert friends, these kids who are at home, say, "I know how to make a sandwich. I know how to jump rope. I know how to dress for cold weather." And so then the
Oh, yeah,
pigeon
kick a
goes
ball.
and
Yeah.
I know how to kick a ball. The pigeon goes and learns from them. And then at the end, fully believes that he explained this conundrum perfectly on his own, by his own merit, with some help, of course, from some of his very good friends. And it's just a really fun, silly show. Every time, it's funny because every time I watch an episode, I'm like, oh, it's over. You sort of
I
like,
know.
you kind of, they're so short and quick, but I think that's kind of the beauty of it, right? It keeps you coming back, and you want to make sure that you're watching one the next week, and you can't wait to see the next one. And so,
Yeah.
and you just sort of want more pigeon. And so
Well,
I
you never know. Probably
absolutely,
be like a TV series or something. Or
hey, let's all cross our wings together.
Yeah.
Cross our beaks.
Oh, there you
go.
Think
Our
about it.
talons.
The talons. Yeah,
Talon.
it's funny
Crossing
because
the
it's
talons.
it's like it kind of echoes back to the books, because it again, it puts we're learning something, these like basic like life skills that kids should learn how to do, but once again we're putting the kids in the position of like authority and knowledge, and that's so fun, like that's so cool for the kid audiences. But as a parent who, there's just so much kids media out there these days, and gosh, do we appreciate something that's fun for us to watch along with our kids, because there's like enough
Yeah.
stuff that I'm like, I don't want to watch another one of these. But I laugh. I think the writing and the editing is
The writing
hilarious.
is so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the editing is
And, like,
great.
even
Yes.
the editing, I texted like Rob or Nucci like right afterwards. I'm like, oh my gosh, it came together so good. It's like so snappy. It's so funny. All the different takes that we did with Rose's like eyelids, it reads so well, and it feels like one cohesive thing.
Mhm.
Even
But
the
yeah,
feather
and then
gag
Tim-
at the beginning, because when you're shooting
Oh
it,
yes,
there's a pace
yes,
to it.
that was
And
Rose.
so and
yes.
so when you
Yeah.
watch it and it's like boom, 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 you're like, oh yeah, like that's proper comedy pacing. Because
Yeah.
on set you're like,
Yeah, hold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, a lot of time.
Yeah, but it cuts together seamlessly. And then Tim McKeon was on set like every single day, and he's such
And
a
pitching new
smart,
jokes.
quick
And
writer.
yes, because I
Yeah.
can sit
So,
there
like-
and look at a piece of it and be like, oh, this just doesn't, I know this can be funnier. What can this be? And he's like, what if you just said, do you want to hear more about that? And the kid's like, no. And I'm like, yes, thank you. And then but he was there. He has such a quick and smart and funny, wonderful, kind mind. It is just, he's an absolute joy to be on. The show wouldn't be what it is without him on set.
Also probably
true.
like a great collaborator. Like if
Oh,
he can't
yes.
find it, he's like, okay, what do other people think? Like he will like
What is it?
open it
Yes.
up.
Best
and-
idea wins.
Right. That's such a fun environment to be a part of. Because like
Yeah.
we'll all start throwing things and they're like, that's it. And then we like do it. It's really
Yeah, it's
fun.
never like how comedy can be like a competition. It's not
Right.
that. It's like always an offer. You know,
Right.
it's like a
Mhm.
gentle offer of like, what
Yeah,
if
it's
we
like,
did
what if-
this? But because
Yeah.
he's brilliant, it's always like, yeah, we're gonna do what you said.
And
No,
also
we have
sometimes
such
it's
a
like
great crew.
sometimes it's like both of these ideas are funny, so let's shoot them both and let's see what reads better when we edit it together. And so we'll do that sometimes too. Sometimes like we just can't decide, do we want the longer version, do we want the shorter version, do we think this is going to be better, do we think this is going to be better? Let's do both, you know.
Yeah.
See which one
And I
reads
think
better
that's
once
why
we cut it all together.
it's part of why I feel like these have been so successful and been like received so well. It'd be one thing to have just like one script and everybody was kind of like too precious or scared to change it, but there is like collaborative trust between everybody on set. And like, you know, although the crew that we had, who was amazing, they were excellent, they picked up on the puppet stuff right away. We never worked with them.
Yeah.
But Ben Lehman, he directed and he was the executive producer of Sesame Street for a long
Sesame
time.
Street.
So like we knew him. You know, Timmy Cowan we'd worked with on Helpsters and you know, between me, Rose, and Bradley, we've all become very good friends, even outside of like working. And so there's just this mutual trust. And that sort of leads to sort of freedom of collaborating and taking each other's ideas and giving offers. And that I feel like I don't know, makes for a good product when everybody can sort of like pitch in.
Nice.
Yeah, the series it's just so amazing. It's just so
Such a
so
such a fun
fun.
show. Yeah.
so silly. It's just amazing. It's just so many words, so many things. There's just such amazing.
How many
like,
words? You can only choose one.
I know, like
You
that's
only
how
have
amazing
one,
the
Jake.
series is.
Yeah.
Only one.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you already,
And the
and you already
writing-
chose your one.
And the writing for the series too is just so amazing. Where it can like the pigeon can kind of have his emotions. Where if he's super surprised or he's super excited, where a kid or something, I brush my teeth 2 times a day, and the pigeon goes like 2 times.
2 times a day.
And it's like,
You get so much
it's-
emotion out of it. It's
I kick the
great.
ball to the goal, like go.
Yeah.
He is just he just goes all out, but it's
Full of
just-
emotion.
but in a good way. Of course, it makes the kid like laugh and enjoying. You know,
Had them build up confidence too,
yeah,
because the
yeah,
pigeon.
yeah, for sure.
Because the pigeon, you know, even though it says the pigeon explains, as you mentioned earlier, the pigeon doesn't really explain it. The kid does. So
Mhm.
he builds up the confidence, and so does the kid because they explained it to this pigeon. You know, it's wonderful. It really is.
The range of
that's-
feelings that
yeah.
Bradley gets out of this pigeon is like I picture like here's a spectrum of like all the feelings of just being kind of like really chill to zero chill. And it's like he's oiled, like, you know, there's like a little meter between them and it's just oiled. It's just slicked up. It is just constantly doing this, you know.
Yeah.
There's no like, you know, because like once you're chill, you're kind of in a chill mood. Like he fluctuates between being completely like casual to like losing his mind, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel frenetic though, Bradley. It doesn't feel like, where did that come from? Like it really does feel like a part of this pigeon who just feels a lot of things, you know.
Yes, the pigeon feels everything and he feels them out loud. That's sort of like how I'm sort of imagining it.
He has his
but it's
heart
also
on his wing.
And
Yeah,
there's
there's
no
no
wrong
honest wing.
feelings. There's no wrong
no,
feelings for
there's no
pigeons.
wrong feelings. And the kids also, what one of the genius about the writing is the kids allow the pigeon to just feel whatever he's feeling in the moment.
Yeah.
Which is really, really great. And we have some cool stuff coming up in a very long time, but where the pigeon actually, you get to see him be calm. There's and that's going to be really cool because we're going to go from the extremes of him being and all of that stuff to him just like feeling a slight moment of zen, but it's all so valid, you know, and it's still very in character. And there are some really, really sweet scripts that are going to be coming out soon, and
Yeah,
I
especially
can't wait
about
for everybody to see it.
Awesome.
we're very looking forward to it as well. And for like, you know, him just wants to like kind of like wants to talk with that kid, like well, how does this and how does this, you know. It makes, you know, the audience who watches like, oh my gosh, he can do, that kid can do it, you know, why not that kid
So
too,
can I.
you know. And I think that's just so
Yeah.
great for
Again,
series can
it's
be
build-
like that.
again, it's
Can
building
be
up
more
that confidence.
inclusive.
Exactly. Again, it's building up that confidence, not
Mhm.
just the kid, but the pigeon as well. And I think that's what makes the series work so well, is that it builds up confidence for the kids, So to anybody who wants to check out the Pigeon Explains, where can people find it?
I could probably
YouTube.
say this in a sleep. Oh no, say the whole thing.
You watch the Pigeon Explains on the Mo Willems Workshop YouTube channel. It's on YouTube.
Every Friday.
Absolutely.
Every Friday.
Every Friday, yeah. Every new episode,
Friday.
every single Friday.
Every Friday.
It'll be Happy Friday when a new episode comes out.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Pigeon Friday or something like that.
Pigeon
Friday.
Friday. I like that. Pigeon Friday. Yes.
The pigeon likes Pigeon Friday, but he also likes Pigeon Mondays and Pigeon Tuesdays and Pigeon Wednesdays. not Thursdays, but he loves a good Pigeon Friday.
Yeah, and then the YouTube channel will be in the description down below, so any y'all want to check it out.
Yes, so to wrap this up, Bradley and Kathy, we asked you this last question before, but Rose, this will be the first time. We usually ask this question to round out our interviews. We ask this to every guest. Go ahead, Jake.
Well, thank you, Matt. So, of course, this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of? Or in your own words, how would you define the word nostalgia?
Oh my god.
Go!
Oh, that's a heavy question. I mean, nostalgia is childhood. So you think of like what you experienced in your childhood, but like that could mean so many things, like from a show to a smell to a location. So, I mean, am I supposed to say like something that is nostalgic for me, or
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
If
of course.
you want to.
this is gonna be really
Whatever
weird?
your heart
but-
takes you.
Okay.
The smell of WD-40 and the smell of Home Depot. That is like
Okay, yeah.
my dad. That's like my family. Like I don't know. I love those smells. And then also like the other day we were talking about like Rankin and Bass in a lounge in green room, and so like just those kind of like old school stop motion animations, Gumby, and then of course
yeah.
the tried and true like Muppets, Bear in the Big Blue House, all that jazz.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
amazing shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, thank you for joining Bradley and Kathy. Of course, thank you for coming back, and Rose, thank you for joining us for your first
Yes.
podcast.
First
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
History
having me.
making Rose, yes.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you guys for taking time to do this, and it was such a blast to talk about a series, and I'm very excited cannot wait for more to come in the future. Bradley and the rest of y'all doing an amazing job for what you guys are doing with the series, and keep up a great work of what's going to be happening later down with that series in the West, and we guys are doing later on, and cannot wait what's next in store.
We're very excited
Yay.
for more.
Yes.
Thank you. Yay.
Yes.
and
Well, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'll let you know when this goes up. It should go up soon.
yeah,
Very soon.
Well,
Thanks
thanks
so
for
much.
having us.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
of course.
Bye.
Talk to y'all soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, and it is goodbye from us as well. We absolutely enjoyed our time speaking with the folks from the Pigeon Explains. Once again, that's Bradley Freeman Jr., Kathleen Kim, Rose Labarre. Yes, link to where you can watch the Pigeon Explains and links to their social medias will be in the description down below for people to connect. And as always,
Yes.
what do we say, Jake?
And their social medias and everything, and Mo Willems Workshop and their website and their social medias will be description down below. If anyone wants to connect with them about the series and check out as well for new episodes every Friday. But anyway,
Every Friday. And new episodes from us every Wednesday and Saturday. So come see us again too.
Yes, absolutely. But anyway, keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show YouTube exclusive. Like and subscribe for more, and ring the bell that way you don't miss a single notification. We air brand new episodes twice a week, so don't miss it. Also be sure to follow Jake and the crew for more fun. Keep nostalgia alive, and thanks for joining us.